Alright, guys. So here's the pendant light project that I have started working on that I would like to kind of do as a two together kind of experimenty build kind of thing. Um, I've already kind of mapped out how I want to approach the idea because if I didn't do that first, well, we'd be sitting here for a really long time while I arted. But so what I've done is I've bought this and that, the bulb and this pendant light cord. And what I'm gonna do is work on showing how to design the parts needed to create a shade that would lock into our little threaded area with the bolt and everything and put the lamp, the bulb in, have a shade and make a fun little light. So what I have going on is a artboard that is about 19 by 10.95 inches, roughly the work area for the Glowforge laser cutter. And I've kind of mapped out what I want it to look like. Like this would be looking up at it. I kind of want a petally bloom look with the bulb in the center, and we're not going to really cover it. We're going to use some spokes linked to a top mount to create the mounts and shade work for the petals and stuff. So over here, I've got kind of a really crappy visual representation of what is happening around the bulb and the sizing. I got all of my measurements done. I took, it says this inches, blah, 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 blah. But I remeasured certain things like the diameter at the thickest part of the bulb was like 60 millimeters. The height from the bulb to where the socket is 95. I got like a 39.5 width around the socket, and my bolt or nut or whatever is about 55.5. So I've got a lot of that visually represented across the board. Like this circle is my bulb, and I've got like another shape out here, and that's gonna be kind of how we're thinking about mounting the petals to and whatnot. Over here, so here's the bulb, kinda, and I've marked an area around the bulb, and that would be the space needed to fit my hand in and change it out and everything. And I've started looking at how I'm going to mount the shade itself to the fixture via its little locking nut thing. So I've got a pedal, and I've got it placed at about a 45-degree angle, and we're going to bring it down below the base of the bulb because I want the bulb exposed to shine straight down, but I would like to cast some shadows and maybe some fun patterns via cutting out holes in the petals. But first and foremost, I've actually got to get to the stage where I'm ready to cut things out, and right now, this is not it, as you can plainly see. This is me working out shapes into different patterns and positions to figure out exactly how things are going to work. So starting off, I know for a fact that I'm using material that is going to be about 5 millimeters thick. It's usually between 5 and 5.2. So for safety reasons, I'll just go ahead and right off the bat get me a little rectangle going and switch my measurements over to millimeters. In Illustrator, you can bring up your ruler via Control R, and that'll hide it. And then if you right click your ruler, you can turn it to millimeters. Now I know there's a bunch of different ways to access different things, but I know none of the fancy shortcut commands and stuff, so bear with me. So I've got my little box, this is my visual representation of my wood thickness. So basically, I'm actually drawing out and mapping out how I want things to function based on wood thickness and what I need to do. So it's time to break this down and start figuring out how we're actually going to build this pendant lamp. So because I want it to be kind of, well, pinecone-y, it's they're always kind of pine coney. I know that I'm going to need to move the petals at angles and also move them around the bulb itself. To start off, I'm really just going to keep everything simple and move things at, like 45-degree angles, just simple click, rotate while holding shift, and we're going to move things around 45-degree angles. That's just super easy to play with on math-wise. And so is what I would like to use as the mount that will go right here. Using a octagon, I've got an 8-sided thing where I can mount stuff on all of our compass points very easily. So we'll play with that in a minute. Alright, so here's petal 1, and I've got it kind of like at a 45-degree angle away from the bulb. And we're going to have to figure out how to bring a mount around to it. My outer circle here might end up being used. It's really just there to space stuff around from. Alright, so let's start figuring this out. Petal 2 is a maybe petal. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do them both. We might. I've got a second petal there, a larger one. Might layer it kind of behind. Yeah. Let's see here. I think it'd be kind of neat to see if I can try to work out something like that. Well, let's see what we're doing. Alright, so I know pieces have to interact. I know I'm going to need to have pieces that connect through others, and we're going to clip it all together and hopefully not use glue. And to do that, I'm going to be using slots. I'm just trying to collect my thoughts on how I'm doing this. I'm sorry. I'm like not the best at explaining. And it's really going to be a follow along more than anything else on this. But theoretically, what I need to do is actually only design one mount, and then basically using Illustrator's tools, copy and paste everything to make things super simple. And I guess the easiest way to start would be like this. So let's pretend this sheet, this piece, and this piece are what I'm going to use inside of the socket that everything connects to. And they are these. More specifically, they are those with this right in the center, because that's our 39.5 millimeter circle. This area right there. So that's going to go onto the socket mount. Now, I've already worked out kind of how I want to do the slot work. So what I have here is a singular, just little, there it is, 5x15 slot. And then another 5x10. And I'm representing those hidden, or not hidden, but like kind of inside the material itself right here. So this is one slot with that little rectangle, and then the next slot is impossible to click on, but it is right there. Yeah, so top, side view. And I keep everything the same widths and dimensions. So like this is 130 millimeters wide by 5.1 tall for my material thickness. And then this, looking down at it, would be 130 by 130. So now I can visually see those two slots represented on both sides. And now back to the side view. As you can see, I've got longer rectangles and stuff coming down. And these are all just representations of distance that I need to clear to get from point A to point B with material, and figure out how everything else links together. So I have to create a piece that is going to, get that out of the way, is going to connect through these slots. So I made just some more simple rectangles in my material thickness, and I'm just going to bring them all into the picture frame. So I've got this piece that's going to go through the outside slot that kind of helps everything stabilize, and then these other pieces represent material coming up and over and then going into the slot there, just to help keep everything locked into place. And I think that's actually how I want it, so we're just going to go ahead and weld that nonsense together and get rid of that rectangle because we don't really need that there. So now I've got, well, a theoretical piece of wood. This theoretical piece of wood, it still isn't ready though, but it would connect through that slot, and as you can see, it would go through that one just fine, and material isn't going to be flush with this, and I think I'm going to actually leave it that way just for a little bit of depth and character. But I come down here, and you can see I've drawn out another rectangle at kind of like a 45-degree angle. And it's kind of what we want, and kind of not. Now, since I've already welded these pieces together, I can't really play with the scales on this. I can't, like, drag that up and have all the dimensions stay the same. Believe it or not, this piece right here, these little areas, have changed in scale drastically. I can't do that. And you can't do it this way either. Like, I can't drag these down. As you can see, everything up here moves. So when in Illustrator, if you're trying to change certain parts without changing other things, up here in the top left, grab your direct selection tool. And with the direct selection tool, first, I'm going to double click this and bring it into isolation mode. I believe that's what it's called. Now I'm going to grab the direct select, and I'm going to grab these two little anchor points, and I'm just going to drag them down. And by holding the shift key, I can't really, it's like snappy lock, so we're going to hold things in place. And I'm going to bring them in to this rectangle. Now, while in isolation mode, or while using the direct selection tool, nothing up here is going to be changed. We're literally just moving nodes that have been selected and nothing else. Very handy. So let's exit that, and we're going to go like this. And now I know I want this piece out further, like the first petal. I know I want it out there, so we're just going to merge that together. Now we have the petal represented here by this just 45-degree angle piece. And how are we going to connect it to that piece? Because remember, these are going to be interacting on different planes. Well, we're going to use slots, like always. I already knew that the dimensions, or the width of these bars, they were 20 millimeter wide bars, and this one was 20 millimeters as well at a 45-degree angle. So what I have here is a little, well, did I do 20? Maybe. No, they're 15. I'm such a dummy. Well, they're 15 millimeters. Whatever. Same difference. At least we're going to get to the outcome we want. Alright. So we're going to create a way for this piece, the petal, to connect to the end of this little just piece, just this right here. We're just going to figure that out. And the way we're going to do that is obviously via some kind of slot work. But how? Well, let's figure it out. So we're going to slide that on like that, I suppose. That makes perfect sense. So with the petal, let's go, let's see here. How do we want it positioned? So remember, I know the red ring is where I don't want anything to go into, because I would like to be able to get my hand cleanly into this. So let's see here. If I want this to be kind of more at the tip and about like, well, yeah, smack in the middle works. All right, so we're gonna make a slot. Let's bring this to front. Right click, arrange, bring to front. All right, so let's just go ahead and grab both of these. Double click, or not double click, but click this one again so it's highlighted. And we're gonna go ahead and use our alignment jigger mergers to just go ahead and get that aligned. And I'm tired of looking into it, so let's just do that. So now I have a pedal with a slot in it, or a theoretical slot. Might work, might not. Now in order for it to stay on our extension here, well, it's got to at least go through, right? I mean, that makes sense. So let's look at this real quick. Let's grab this little guy, rotate it at a 45-degree angle, and bring it over here. So grab this, and let's get it on the material. So let's say it's in the material right now. And actually, it's not. When you zoom in, like, there we go. By holding shift and like control and whatnot, you can actually snap things to other things. It's very handy. Let's make everything an even stroke real quick. There we go. So now all the lines make sense. We can see what's happening. Things are connecting. Well, let's see here. We're obviously going to need to... No, it's got to be... Yeah, it's got to be on the end of that one. So we need to bring this piece more in... Or we need to extend it out a little bit so that way material goes through the slot, because I don't want to bring the pedal past the red border. So let's grab our trusty direct select tool, hit those two nodes, and grabbing this line right here, I'm going to hold shift now as I drag to move it at a, you guessed it, 45-degree angle. And as long as I, you know, hold the shift key and keep it pretty centered, it's not really gonna, yeah, see, it's not gonna, it wants to move at 45 degrees. So let's bring this piece out about like so. Exit direct selection, and we're gonna take this and, man, arrange it. I usually don't work with things filled in, but I figured it'd be easier for y'all to see what I'm doing. So we're gonna do that. Okay. So what I see is that I now have my little extension goes through the material, goes at least 5 millimeters through, and I have a little bit of blorp over here to play with. And I commonly always go a little bit further. I'll usually leave myself at least 5 millimeters worth of work room to play with. Now, this should allow me to do something else. I now have about 10 millimeters past where I would like the slot to be. And I think, instead of like gluing it on or something, I think what I'm going to do is actually notch in another piece. So if this is 15 millimeters, let's turn off the width and height proportional scale. So let's create a notched piece. So let's divide that by 2, and you can do math right inside of Illustrator. It's pretty cool. So 15/2 is going to give me 7.5 millimeter little thing. Let's think. Let's take this and let's snooge it right up in there. All right. Why are you doing that, Nick? Why? Well, because I think what we're going to do to hold the pedal in place is to use another piece of material. What we'll do is create a secondary petal, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. Let's take this as an example, and let's create the retainer. So I'm going to grab a rectangle. You know what? No, let's get fancy. Maybe a star. Alright, so here's the retainer. No, that's going to take up too much space. We're not going to use a star. We're just going to use a rectangle, because rectangles can become everything we want. Alright, so let's think of this as the retainer piece, and we've got to get it set up to actually retain the petal from falling right off and going somewhere we don't want it to go. Alright, so we're going to have a duplicate of this little guy. And let's think here. So it would be right about there. And let's change the colors so we can see what's happening. So this rectangle represents the material coming through the petal, the spoke, or whatever you would want to call it. And that blue notch is a representation of that red one right there, that blue rectangle and that red rectangle. And the retainer is going to have to be, we'll do something simple. We'll do a simple little clip retainer kind of thing. Alright, but we're not going to need that like that. So let's see here. Oh. Yeah, why not? Let's just do a fun little rounded rectangle. Like, we don't need to get fancy with the retainer. The retainer is just the retainer. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just like thinking to myself, do I want it to be so flush, or do I want it to be a little bit like that maybe? No, it won't work like that. Alright, well. Yeah, it would. It would. I just don't like the way it would look. Alright. So now, this is actually really it. We're just going to take this, and that's now our retainer. Super simple. So, if we take it, and if you kind of look, if this piece was cut out, it would notch in right there and just literally hold our petal in place. And I use glue for everything. I always suggest glue, but that's going to keep our petal from going anywhere. So let's take this piece and let's get it ready to go. So I hit the exclude button, just remove that rectangle, and now I have the piece cut out how I need it to be. And we've still got our petal ready to go. Alright, so next up, we also need to think about keeping this petal from going anywhere else. I mean, we don't want it shifting around and going somewhere stupid. So an easy solution for that would be, we'll just grab one of these guys, and we know that that's the same distance or the same height and width and everything, blah 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 blah, but we don't need it to be like that anymore. So let's make it 20 millimeters. Put it back on the 45-degree angle, and let's put it right in here and just get everything snappy and aligned. There we go, like that. And now this one and this one, we're going to merge these two together. Got Pathfinder over here, we're going to unite them. And now those pieces are one, and they changed their colors and everything because that's how it do. Well, let's go ahead and color it back in. Alright, so now our piece of wood has these little blocks on it that's going to keep the pedal from going anywhere else. Cool. I mean, we're making progress. And remember, we only have to design one of these because we're going to copy and paste everything else. Ha ha ha. Alright, so let's go ahead and get that piece, and over here we'll exclude that. Well, that didn't work. Sometimes these lines don't like to behave on stuff, but that's perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do is actually just grab these and remove my fill, and I'm going to take both of these, and I'm going to grab this tool over here, my shape builder. I love this thing. And by holding down Alt, you get a little minus sign. Boop, 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 boop. And that's, whenever you click on things, well, you're just going to delete that line. Ta-da! So now that line's gone. But they're different. Oh, they're so different too. So now I have basically just this individual line segment shape piece that is just going to be a pain in the butt. And we don't want that because it's not going to make a compound path. It's not going to fill. It's not going to do anything. So we're going to join these. It's not a very complex shape. So grabbing the line segments that we got here, we're just going to go Control J. And now we've joined all the pieces back together. And it changed the stroke again. It always changed to like the first selection or something. There we go. Alright. Okay. So now I've got this piece that goes up, it comes down, it's going to hang, it's got the pendant pieces around it and stuff. Fun stuff. It's what we've always wanted. Always wanted in a lamp. Alright. You know, alright, yeah, let's figure out the second. Let's figure out the second pedals just for shiggles. For chagrins. Alright, so if we do the second pedal, I kind of want it as like a cascade kind of thing. Maybe tucked in and behind at a slight angle. I'm going to put designs on the pedal, so I don't really want to be blocking too much. I want to keep these sides a little open so I can cut out some little holes for some light to go through. But I do want a little bit of overlap when you're looking up at it. So at the angles, that's probably not terrible. Probably not terrible. But this one's a little bit different now. So this one's not at a 45-degree angle. As you can see up here, it is at something stupid. Let's put it at like 330. There we go. That sounds good. And I'm going to basically need to create another type of spoke thing off of our starter hangy pedal spoke to get to it. I'm just trying to think. This is going to need at least 8 of these. And I don't want to take up too much material because I want this to be simple but still kind of elegant. Like you just kind of for y'all to play with. Maybe we bring them back in more. Maybe not. Yeah. Decisions. So much thinkies. So much thinking. Yeah, alright, let's just do it. Alright, so we're gonna take it and we'll just, well, put it about like that again. Alright, let's grab our rectangle tool. Good old trusty rectangle tool. And let's remember that we made this 15 millimeters. So let's go ahead and 15 millimeter it up and get this set up basically the same way we did down there. The only difference is we're gonna cheat. We're gonna cheat. Alright, no. We're not gonna build it from scratch. Let's just use what we already have and replicate it. So holding Alt, click, boom. We're gonna take that. We're just gonna use exactly this, but we just want this piece. So let's take this and we'll just do this, draw a line across it. And we'll take both and we'll go up to our pathfinding tool and we're just going to divide these. Now that's put them into two parts, but they're grouped, so we're going to go up here and ungroup. And now I have this to play with. And that's all I want because I don't feel like really drawing that again. I don't feel like setting all that up. Alright, and we know that this is at about a 330-degree angle. Or, well, is. So, we're just going to go ahead and type in 330 into the angle bar, and it's going to do that and rotate it all kinds of stupid on us. So let's just reorientate that. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, and then we just there. So what I did was type in 330 degrees into the thing, but because of the axis it was originally on, that's not the angle I needed it at for it to line up, which was the opposite angle at like 15 degrees. So all I did was just hold shift and rotate it to where it needed to go. Cool. So now we want it to be supported by about the middle again, and it doesn't need to be perfect. We ain't getting that fancy. But let's just go ahead and actually, you know what? No, let's support this one closer from the bottom. That makes more sense. So that way we can have the little spokes closer together, and that way we can nest the pieces a little bit easier. That seems way more practical to me. Alright, so now we just got to connect these two little bug nuts together. So let's isolate this, and I'm going to grab my trusty direct no, not the whole thing, just you. Alright, just the anchor. Direct select tool, and we're just going to, well, like a dummy. You got to get them all, and then move them together. Well, so it's not at a 45-degree angle, and Illustrator only really likes to behave at those. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna smooth out everything anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I can grab these, just kind of pull them in there. We're not really. This isn't even gonna be seen, so it's not that important that it stay dimensionally accurate. Oh, there it goes. It behaved. All right. So now these pieces are close together, so we're gonna grab them both. And what's happening? That one. That one. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so Pathfinder, unite, one piece. Alrighty. Next up, let's do a little bit of cleaning, shall we? Yes, quite. And by that, I mean, I don't like all these jagged corners. So this piece, we're using the direct select. And this one, and this one, and this one. They're not even going to be seen, but I just don't like them. So I'm going to grab the little node, whoop, curve them in, get some nice little rounded butt corners going on. Little rounded butts. There we go. Well, no, I want those ones to actually be with these ones. Kind of like that, just gentle. All right, our little elbow over here. Well, all right, let's do this. Let's grab that one, and let's wonk. Let's just do that. Little elbow. I actually turned it into an elbow. Okay, so we're starting to shape the pieces, and I'm gonna keep playing with the direct select and just grabbing singular anchors and adding some gentle curves to things. It's all gentle. It's all gentle. Those ones aren't going to behave because I moved the nodes. Let's just back those up. Let's just start over. I'm sorry, this is what I do, people. I'm sorry. That one, that one, that one, that one, this one, this one. Holding shift. Just grabbing these nodes all together because I'm going to move them all at once. And whoop. There we go. Just for funsies. But hopefully you can see way you guys are seeing ways to use these tools in different application. And kind of like about there. This one may be kind of sloping. When it turns red, it's usually hitting another anchor, and you can't bend past another anchor. But we'll just kind of like right up to that point and get kind of like a nice curve in there. Let's get back to our elbow. Let's fix our elbow. Oh, make it back an elbow. There we go. And this one, and let's slope this one too. Let's just kind of, there we go. Excuse me. All right. So as you can see, we've got this spoke starting to take shape, and we're gonna need to figure out like a couple things on how to really get it nice and secure. And that's why I had this secondary piece up here to represent another layer of material that it might reach into. But, I mean, we don't know if it's even needed yet. For shiggles, I am going to bring the hook that goes through the material down using my direct selector, just to make sure it really goes through the material. And actually, you know what? Let's just double layer it. We'll just double layer it. That way everything stays nice and secure up top. So forget that. Let's just grab this and we'll just simulate everything at once. Alright, so using the handy direct selector tool, let's isolate this bad boy. And let's grab all the nodes we need to grab to allow this to accommodate now 2 layers of material. So I've grabbed all the nodes in this area, and I'm going to just grab, I have not grabbed all the nodes in this area. I'm a liar. There we go. Now I've grabbed the nodes, and we're just going to hold shift and move up, and there we go. Well, let's use this piece and we'll just snap it, boom, right back there. So now I've got a big old beefy 2 thick layer hook kind of thing that's going to grab the top of our pendant lamp mount. And that's basically 2 of these guys. Super simple. Super simple. And so far, in theory, I've got this set up to where we're not going to need any glue, which, frankly, I mean, I find it good. I like to avoid using glue if I can. But let's look at the rest of the spoke, because a lot of the detail from this lamp is going to come from the spoke. The top part is kind of ugly. There's nothing really fun about it. Let's give it a hoopa doopa swoosh whoosh. There you go, technical terms. Pencil tool. Grab my pencil, and I am going to just kind of draw a swoosh. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? No. Let's just grab our basic tools again. Let's just grab a shape. Let's grab a circle right here and make a circle. To expand a circle evenly from the central point, you're going to hold Shift and Alt to do this. If you just hold Alt, you kind of get one that expands from the center around your pointer. By holding Shift and Alt, you force it to maintain symmetry. And just holding shift will give you symmetrical circles around the central points, or not central points, but from where you clicked to where you're dragging to. But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna get ourselves big, close enough. Close enough. We'll figure it out. All right. There we go. So now I have a little circle that goes up there. I like a little circle that goes up there. All right, let's just take these aside. Well, let's get that out of here. We don't care about that one anymore. I'm gonna grab these two, and I'm gonna hold Alt and drag them, and also while holding Shift, I can keep it perfectly in line. And I'm gonna let go. So I want to put the top piece on here, but man, I can't just grab these two and merge them, because that stupid stuff's gonna happen. We don't want stupid stuff. So in order to get the top half of the circle onto my spoke, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take my shape builder tool right there, and I'm going to hold down Alt and click on my circle piece there and make it go away, because I don't care about it. We didn't love it. And now I'm going to merge them together. No, I'm totally lying. No. Alright. I'm just going to continue building this with the shape builder. So I deleted that line, and there's another way to create your own shapes as one pieces. So with the plus sign, you can basically click and drag into another area. Well, this has created a new shape. And I want to go into there, so let's just go there. And I want to go up there, so let's just click and drag into there. And the shape builder tool has now created a new shape. Yay, just for me. Well, and y'all, but for me mostly. Haha. And now I've got, don't need that. And I guess I don't need that guy no more. And let's fill this one in. Let's fill it in. Let's make it darker. Well, that's the stroke. Whoops. Well, no, stroke can be black. Let's fill it. Okay, let's do that. Alright. So now we're going to go ahead and just pop this back over here for a looky-loo to see kind of what we got going on. Well, it's all going to wiggle around. Let's just Control Z back to where everything was there. And we'll just manually pop that back into place and delete the stuff around it. Sometimes I'm not the best at lining things up. I'll get rid of that circle. Alright, now we'll fill it back in. So beautiful. Purple. Alright. Well, we're getting pretty close to actually being done. And I know, how long have we been doing this? About 45 minutes now. Anyway, I thought it might take like an hour, but we're moving along. Alright. Well, y'all are in for the long haul anyway, if you're still here. Let's, just because I want to add just like a 12mm circle right in there. And I'm going to get both of those, and I'm going to go and hit my Pathfinder excludey thing to punch that hole out. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm just going to use it later. Maybe I won't. But that's how I want that to be. Just a little hole up there. Actually, speaking of little holes up there, let's grab these two suckers and stack them on top of each other. So these are the petals. And let's grab that. Well, actually, no, I gotta remember. I did say that this one was going to be supported more from the bottom. Well, I gotta figure out that angle now, don't I? So what was it, like 15 degrees? Yeah, but it was reversed, so let's go like that. No. Fucking 330. There. That one time, that worked. Alright. So, if we get this lined up like so, I'm going to need this like that. No, stop. 330. And then we like right. Bring to front, please, so I can grab and touch. There we go. Alright, so that's about where it needs to be. So let's grab this, we'll grab this, and we are going to take them over here and pop them into 0. Boom. That's how I want it. So that's where that slot is going to be. And let's just go ahead and lock everything in. What do we got? Yeah, let's just go ahead and exclude that. Punch that hole in. Make it a compound path, as you can see. And we're going to make the stroke black. I like these the way they are. So strokes black. This one is still just a couple paths put together. So let's control 8 and create a compound path. Because I'm pretty sure that's exactly how I want them to be. Give everything a 1-point stroke again. Get these things set up. Alright. So this one, I don't know if I actually want details on, but this one, I do want to cut out some stuff. And I'm going to do something super just basic. We're just going to put some circles. Let's do 10 millimeters. 10 millimeter circle there. And let's grab the center and do a 45 degree kind of like, no. Let's do something like that. No, I don't like it. Further out. I don't know what you're aligning to up there, but good for you. Alright, we're not going to direct align anything. So let's group these. And then let's center them around those two. So we'll shift them over a little bit. Okay. And no, man, I don't know why I do this. I know what I want to put there. I do. I know what I want to put. Alright, so let's fucking compound path release because I don't care about the middle piece. Let's just grab this one and let's go to path, offset path, and I'm gonna do something a little fancier. Let's round over everything just to be safe. Let's do, so that's 2 millimeters in. Whenever I cut out of 1/4-inch material, I don't like to go thinner than 2 millimeters because I don't mask or anything. I personally sand the woods, and I use a palm sander, and I'm pretty aggressive with it. So I don't like to go past 2 millimeters thick or any thinner than 2 millimeters on any like piece. Otherwise it tends to snappy. But we're gonna do, let's do 3. Let's do a 3 millimeter offset. And now let's do, oh my god, another offset. This time my shape's a little wonky. I built this thing out of a couple rounded triangles to make the pedal. Didn't really smooth out the corners, so they're a little janky. But I don't think it's really gonna matter. Alright, so yeah, let's do another, yeah, let's do 4. And then let's do another one. Y'all are gonna see what I'm doing. Let's offset another at 3. Yeah, 3 sounds good. Alright, so now I've got this piece that I don't really care about. And I'm going to turn those two into a compound path. And I'm going to fill them with some red. And I'm going to, so we can highlight that and see what I'm working with. So I actually intend to remove chunks of this area. I don't want it. I don't like it. It upsets me. But in order to do that without having this outside area fall off, I'm going to have to create some bridges, some bridge things to link the pieces all together. And I'm literally not doing anything. Well, no, let's make it a little fancy. Let's at least not make everything look like welded junk. So let's grab that. We'll just make another rectangle. Let's center align it as per protocol. Let's move this over as per protocol, and I don't want those filled anymore. It's upsetting me. And let's see here. Let's just grab this, rotate, center around this rectangle. Me and rectangles. Let's put this piece over here. Dun, dun, dun. Drag it in, and then we'll take this, and we'll just do that. And I don't want this one to be the compound path, actually. Compound path, release. We don't want any of that filled, because I want to link this one. Yeah. This one and that one, so that's control 8 compound path. Yeah. And I guess I didn't really need to make this extra little one in here to do what I'm doing. That's pointless. It's just overcomplicating things. Alright, so we're gonna take this, and we're gonna take this, and we're gonna take this, and this, and this, and we're gonna merge them together. No. No. That one and that one? No. That one. That one. The way these things work sometimes is a little strange. No, I didn't do it. I'm still learning the finer points of the way the pathfinding system actually behaves. And in my head, these pieces should just link together, but they're not wanting to. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll just grab the trusty shape builder, because, I mean, it builds shapes. We'll just do that. And now I have, yeah, there we go. That's how we'll do it. We'll just grab the shape builder and build in. We'll grab these pieces, fill in. These go in. I just want to make sure. Yeah, it's exactly what I thought happened. So when you're using the shape builder tool, and again, I don't understand exactly how it works, but from time to time it'll do something you don't want it to do, and that's create double lines. We don't want that piece that it built. Yeah, no, we don't. And it's basically it's the negative pieces that were left over from when you merged them with the tool. Some people explain that really well. I understand kind of what's happening, and I don't want it to happen. But there we go. Alright, so now I've got my kind of little V lines cut out around my pedal, my little side points. And this piece would, yeah, be there, so it's in the way, so you can't really see. That would be along the central spoke, so left and right. Well, that's kind of like, yeah, that's about where it's going to be. We're not getting too fancy on this. I really maybe should have cleaned up some of these lines. Oh well. Alright, let's grab that. Let's grab that. And that. And, ooh. Alright, well, these aren't really going to do much. Let's grab that one. That one. That one. That one. That one. That one. And that one. And we'll curve in those just to be fancy. Yeah. Alright. And I don't really have any use for that piece that was left over. Alright. So now I've got kind of like some fun little details. We'll get some like lights casting through those. And you know what? No, I still don't. Sorry guys, I'm like really picky about this because I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna make it and then I'm gonna physically show it to you guys, and that's why I'm a little picky on like how I'm really making it look. I want to keep it simple, but I also don't want it to look like ass. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna look bad. I don't. Hmm. It's fine, Nick. It's fine. All right, we'll do that. Control 8. We'll turn that into a compound path. Done. Boom. Basic pedal. Nothing special needed. And we've got these little guys. Boom. Let's move those out the way. All right. Get this out the way. Get this out the way. All right. So we've got a simple little pattern put on our pedal. We've got the secondary pedal. We've got the spoke. We know how the pedals are gonna fit on the spokes. We don't really need them. And all this whole time, that has not needed to be here. I'm sorry if y'all have been staring at that circle like, what are you doing with that? But I don't need it. All right, so now it's time for us to actually start moving stuff out the way. And our visual representation is fine. We're just gonna keep that over there in case for some reason we forget everything we're doing. Ooh, I need that. All right, so now I've got to get all these little doodads put on so we can hang the spokes. All right, so I've got let's ungroup stuff. Ungroup. All right, so I got these two stupid little rectangles cut out. And remember, earlier I said that this one represents this piece here, and this one is this piece here. But remember, it's going to go out past the material. As you can see, it's going to extend out past. It's cut off there, so we're just going to cut right there. All right, and we need these all the way around this thing. We need 7 more of them. Now here's a fun trick to do without getting too actually, let's get a little crazy. Let's rotate these ever so slightly. Oh, what is this gonna do? Alright, so if I do that, I know for a fact I'm obviously gonna have to bring that corner up. Otherwise the material will be trapped and it won't fit through. Let's just do this. Alright. I'm really not sure about how this is gonna it'll be fine. Alright, so now I need to get 7 more of these onto the 7 blank sides, and doing this number isn't fun. It's just not a fun way to do it. Don't copy paste and manually place. There's a cool tool in Illustrator for this. But first, what I got to do is create a way to move everything. So I'm going to use the distort and transform tool, and in order to do it evenly, you need all of your parts that you're distorting and transforming in a symmetrical space. So this big red circle is for no reason other than to create a group with our slots. So we're going to group these two together. And now I have a group, and now I'm going to go over here to Effect, Distort and Transform, and I'm just going to transform. And the effect I'm going to use, and there we go, preview, is literally I'm just going to replicate this around the circle. And I need copies. So I need 7 copies of that. And I need them at a specific angle. So what I'm going to do is just click here and start scrolling up, and I'm going to drag my 7 copies around to where they are all need to be. And because I have 8 sides, I need a 45-degree angle on everything. So here we go. These have all been spiraled out and copied for me in perfect symmetry. That's exactly how I want it. Okay, done. Now, real quick, these aren't here. They don't exist. They're just there visually, but they're not there, like, physically, so to speak. They're not noted. So in order to get everything to where it'll actually cut out, because right now it'll literally only cut that one, we need to go up to object and we need to expand the appearance. And now everything has nodes. Now because we made copies of everything and then moved them, we have a million copies of this outer circle that we don't even need. So let's go ahead and ungroup everything. It's going to be grouped a couple times. And we're just going to grab all these circles that we didn't need in the first place, aside for alignment purposes, and delete them. Now we've got all these little buggers ready to go. And I'm going to get them all together and do that thing where I group them up. And you know what? Let's add that to them too. And so it doesn't really matter having the little excess pieces, but I personally hate picking them out of the crumb tray for like the Glowforge. So what I'll let's ungroup those actually. So what I want to do is actually, no, ungroup, I say. I want these ones. I want to take all these ones and I want to remove all their extra crap off the sides. So let's just, no, what is it? Is it minus front? Yeah, there we go, minus front. There we go. And now I've got all those nice and cleanly chopped off. And if I want to edit it later, it's going to be a pain. You have to just basically redo it, but it'll work. Alright, so I got all those, and now I'm going to go ahead and make, you know what, yeah, no, just make everything a compound path. Control 8. It's all one big old happy family. Compound path. And black stroke, because I like to use black to cut everything. Alright, so theoretically, this is like the top mount part of the pendant lamp, and remember, I want 2 of them because we're gonna double up on this berber. So let's put that there. Let's get that little rectangle out of the way. Let's put another one here. And you know what? Let's just move our fake lamp out of the way. I might keep that little setup because I might make a couple more designs using these ratios and stuff. So there, get that guy, and get these over here, and get these. Alright, so now 8 sides, so I'm gonna need 8 of these. Alright, we know we're on the 19, blah 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 blah. Go away. So let's get rid of the fill, because we're gonna get ready to cut everything. Grab all this, not you. Put a 1-point stroke, because I like a 1-point stroke. Just so I can see it. Alright, let's grab and start multiplying these things and figure out how we're going to nest the spokes, because they're not the most friendly looking things to nest. Alright, let's clear the board. Let's clear the board. 2, 4, 8. Alright. So, let's see here. Time to play some Tetris. Tetris. Slam you down there. Let's do this. Kinda. Gonna have space in between. So 1, 2, 4, 6. Wah wah. Wah wah. Yeah. I hate doing this. I hate playing Tetris with these pieces. I'm not always the best at it, and I would really like to not waste as much material as possible. And sometimes I design around how much material space I want to use, but this was not the case. Let's just do that. Start shifting stuff manually around. Move you back over there. Okay. Looks like I can Yes. Good. There we go. Alright, that's better. And let's see what we can squeeze in. So we know we have 16 petals, so we'll need 16 of those. Let's just, no. Are you? Get your picture. No, yeah, you're on the line. Okay. That's fine. We can let's just Control G, Control, no, you're a different group. You shut up. There. There. Alright, so we'll take those and just get to the bottom of the sheet. There we go. Bottom of the sheet. We'll scoot you in, make sure everything's fitting. Alright, so yeah, these. 16 of these. 1, 2, 4. And there's 8. And let's grab those, make another 16. Petals, they don't look like they're really gonna fit anywhere conveniently. Alright. No. Okay. So, all of you go away. All of you go away. Control G that, make it one group, so that's one sheet. And we've got 2 of these for our little dangly pendant lamp. And we need 8 of these ones. So 2, 4, and 8. Control G, let's get you guys set up. Alright. We need 8 of these. So just kind of 1, 2, 4, and let's clean them up a little bit. There. I'm just trying to like Tetris and use as much space, or use what I can. There we go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be fancy on the board. We're cutting these out, Nick. Stop trying to be pretty with the way you set stuff up. Alright, you go away. Alright, 2. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, boom, done. Alright, cool. So I'm gonna grab all these and I'm gonna hit Control and G. We can group all that up. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a new, there we go. Control V. No, why didn't I didn't grab text? Stupid thing. Control C. Control V into the new artboard. And pop. And let's go up here and hit Save As. And I'm not doing the layout logo project. What am I? No, this isn't the jelly lamp. Let's go to silhouette stuff. I don't know why I have everything in a folder called silhouette, but I do. Secondary art projects. I have a folder name for this. It's like Glowforge lamp project. There it is. Boom. And this is the original nonsense. I don't need that. So let's go ahead and put this as an AI file. And we will call it Shenanigans. No, I won't remember what it's called. There's a Glowforge pendant lamp thing. Boom. Saved. Alright, now we're going to go and save it again as an SVG file, because that's what I'm going to use to cut. Glowforge pendant lamp thing, SVG. Saved. Boom. Okay. And now let's pull up the Forge and create, upload from file. Well, we were doing a lot of stuff with the layout box. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, here we go. Well, I'd have to go turn on the forge and everything still. But I'm going to set up on thick maple. And I'm just going to get that scooted off. And I'll be back with like the finished product, guys. Thanks for sticking out. I know well, it went way longer than I really wanted it to. Over an hour now. But that was just a really simple kind of how I put stuff together. I showed off some of the different tools I use, and maybe in the future, if you want to know like specifics, well, a more hands-on guided thing would be helpful. But this is a fun little project. I'm gonna put it together, cut it out, and I'm just gonna like toss these files out somewhere. I'll be back. Alright guys, so back. I've got all the parts cut out, and I got a little build station set up here, and I'm gonna put the pendant lamp together. Now, I've already done like 99% of it, because it's the same thing. It's the same 8 spokes, and the 8 pedals, and the other 8 pedals, and the 16 little clamps. But I'm gonna go ahead and just be like, so here's the spoke, and we got the bottom pedal with the little cuts out, and we're gonna put that on there, and we're gonna put the other pedal right on there. We're gonna take our fun little retainers that we made, slide them into place, and that's how you make each of the spokes. And I got the top pieces ready to go. We're just gonna line them up, and I got my pendant dangling. I got it dangling right here. So I'm gonna put these on there. I'm gonna put the nut or washer or whatever that is in there. I'll pop our bulb in, and then we just take these and slot them into place all the way around. Pretty simple stuff. And that's that. That's the one. If I can hold it. There we go. And that's it. We've got the sorry, looking at the camera and be like, can y'all see me? Am I in frame? Is it in frame? It's in frame. There we go. This is it. Pretty simple. Nothing too overly complicated. And it looks pretty cool, I think. But then again, I'm weird and crazy. Let's turn it on. It's gonna be red, because it's a crazy LED bulb. And that's the color I wanted. These specific bulbs are crazy. They like pulse, they can be different colors, they're all controlled via Wi-Fi or phone. This one has like Alexa capabilities, so I could hook it up to my hub. But yeah, it's kind of just like a very minimalistic pendant lampshade. Yeah, there it is, guys. All done.